Well, hello. Hi there, not that much, Des. Did you change your desk to a real desk? Look at Rudy back there. Emily came up and put that blanket there for him. The little white dog in the white blanket. I climbed a mountain with him yesterday. Not a big mountain, but the one behind our house. He and the two dogs. Oh, there's Ollie right there. You can't see him because he's a black dog in a black bed. So I took the two dogs. And we climbed a mountain at sunset yesterday. And they're both just worn out. So they're taking it quite easy. Let's get to it. Let's get to work. So we're working on page 25 today. So let's go over here, bring this all the way down to page 25. It's a lovely Saturday morning that we finished there. Let's make that a little bigger so it's a little boom, 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 boom. Make sure, remember, Kurt, that's, why do I have a space there? What the hell does Miath mean? Metheth. Oh, Mises, well, I don't know what that means. Okay, here, anyway, that is exactly how it was in the book. Let's insert a page break. Go on down here. Let's increase that font to 10-point font and get rocking and rolling. And while we do, let's hear this morning. First, we'll listen again to yesterday's music. This is called Stating My Resolve at the Foot of the Stream of Consciousness Waterfall Hike. That's the title, huh? Here we go. While I type.
Never mind. That's normal. To cough and sputter at the attempt of trying to say something important is the way life is. No more egregious giving up or self-motivated moping around. The example of the stream of consciousness falls will be mine from now on. I don't give a rat's ass about that. As long as I'm good, as long as I'm minding my principles and not taking advantage of others in the brief time that I have left, 20 years, maybe 10, lucky if I'm lucky, 30 years left, that's okay. I'm witnessing the falls come down right now, and I'm not going to give it up, and I'm not going to be afraid anymore. I'm going to watch these falls. Now, I will cough, I will sputter, I will fail, I will be human, I will falter, but I will power through. I have inner strength that I can muster, and reserves that I can call upon until the end comes. It will diminish, but one part will not diminish. That is the optimistic determination to stride forward.
Bear with me here. I did it again. I sent the wrong document to myself. This is the second day this week that I've done this. See if I can find the right one. That's not it. Where is it? Okay, come on. Oh, am I not sending it? Why isn't it coming across? Sending it to the wrong place? Okay, this is going to be. Oh, I'm sending it to. I sent it to the wrong damn place. Dingy. Okay, let me try this again. Open with Firefox. Here we go. Bear with me. Sorry. Get rid of that. And we'll bring this up here. And that's the page I want to do. And look at that. That's all really bad. I did it earlier and it was all fuzzy. But that's okay, because at least we can have the right one. And then I have to delete this out of the Discord. I put it in the wrong place. Okay, and delete. Okay, here we go. Now we can do it. And that bit of sound that you heard is called the stream of. Like I said, that's something that I wrote in Japan at the edge of a waterfall that I tried for 3 years to reach, and I finally reached that waterfall, and I was kind of overcome with emotion, and I actually recorded that bit, and then I realized, hey, that was kind of an interesting thing. It was the culmination of 3 years of tried and failed effort, and a rather dangerous thing to do, and so I put it to music. Why not? Because that's what you do with such things, right? You put them to music. So let's start going again. We'll listen to the maestro's last lesson while we get going here, and bring this down here. This is actually this particular bit of music you're going to hear right now is actually quite significant to me and kind of personal as well. Here we go. And dark. The maestro knows that what is given up in sacrifice before the last lesson can never be recovered. That what is given up in sacrifice before the last lesson can never be recovered. almost got it. Almost to the end of the page. Pitying and in world. Oh, I forgot to do. I forgot to fulfill my promise. There we go. I fulfilled my promise in the right room, and not. I made it to the bottom, but no, there's a bit of it at the bottom here. There's like a little. Not that much. It's a very dark tune. Yeah, it is. It's got a happy ending though. I'll explain it in just a second. Twitch doesn't allow kana. Are you talking about the Japanese writing? And then put down here. Switch back to 8-point font. And then a quote. And here's the beginning of a quote. It may be laid down, says a celebrated writer, as a position which will seldom deceive that a man cannot bear his. And that's the end of it. Okay, and I think we got it. Okay, so that tune that you were listening to, oh, I see. That's why you wrote des as des. Yeah, because I knew you had it in hiragana before, and it wasn't showing up on Twitch, huh? That's interesting that they don't do that. You would think that there'd be lots of Japanese streamers writing things in Japanese like that. Wasn't he so cute? Look at that little dog. So that dark tune. So the Maestro's Last Lesson. I wrote that. I guess I'll just have to bite the bullet and say I wrote that piece of music, right? Because I don't know if I can call it music, but I'll just say that from now on and assume that. That was a music teacher friend of mine where in a school that I worked at in Japan. And this was a failed prophecy, thankfully. Thank goodness. And this was actually the very last lesson that he did. Oh, here's Erica. Hi, good morning, Erica.
Good morning.
How you doing today?
All right.
Good.
I didn't expect you this early on a Saturday.
Oh, yeah, there I am. Hi, good. You got good to see you're off to a good early start as well.
Mm-hmm. I just want to keep my promise.
Oh, thank you. I was just explaining. I played a piece of music just now, and I was explaining it. So, so the piece of music that I just played I wrote that, and I actually recorded the very last lesson of one of the teachers at the school that I worked at in Japan before he retired. And it was actually he was a music teacher, and it was the last lesson of his students playing. So that long piece that we just played, I think it's almost 5 minutes long. That, and I twisted it into a really dark and macabre sounding piece. And you'll notice that it diminished. It began normally, and then it diminished down into kind of a nonsense. And I was predicting, because he was a man who had really, if you follow my Good Life meditations, there's one of the principles called the deep and the shallow risks of life, the risk of avoiding risk. He was someone who had sacrificed the deep risk, I thought, to go after those surface level risks of life. And the consequence was that he was now retiring, and I didn't think he was going to have anything left to do at that point, and he would become one of those lost Japanese men that seemingly so that you see so frequently in Japan, that basically sacrifice themselves on the altar of Japanese society, and are left with very little in the end. I'm projecting into that, but that's the impression that I got by when I saw so many of them. So I wrote that piece, the Maestro's Last Lesson, as homage to what I thought the fate that he was going to suffer. I'm very glad to say that that did not happen with him. He went on to retire. He went on to write a book. He came up with a concept of musicology called the tone. Oh gosh, what is it called? Now it's something I can't remember. He gave it a name, and it translated into something tone color. Tone color. That's what it is. And he wrote a book about it after he retired, and he published the darn thing. And he went on tour all over Japan, doing his tone color thing. Went on interviews on TV, all kinds of stuff. And I am really glad to say that I ate my damn words, and that he went on to have a very successful post-retirement career, pursuing a dream that he had. So Kurt Bell, you can take your good life principle, the deep and shallow risks, or the risk avoiding risk, and shove it up your arse. And I'm really, really glad that that story had a happy ending, because that's a dark, scary, foreboding piece of music that was completely off base. So that explains that.
Okay, and do you have the copy of the book, if you mind me asking?
It's available. I don't. He sent me a copy, but I don't have it anymore. And I don't. I tend not to keep anything, Erica. So, but it's available on Amazon. I think it's called. I don't know what it's called in Japanese, but it translates into tone color.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Well, too bad you don't have it anymore.
Yeah, that is too bad.
Is it because that you were moving and stuff?
I don't keep things, so I throw things away. I'm just not a keeper. So I'll keep things for a little bit, and then I'll put them in the Goodwill recycling bin.
How about Emily's portrait of you? You didn't keep that either?
I keep some things. I think anything that's like a photo or a letter, I have a box that I put those things in. But very little. So anybody gives me like a gift, a cup or anything like that, it'll be gone. I just don't keep anything.
Okay. And hello everybody who's watching, and also funny story, I actually know like two people who have their own book, and it's in like Little Tokyo, if you tend to explore. And the person, he writes children's books, and um and it's pretty nice.
Nice. What's it?
Yeah.
You want to give him a plug? And what's it called?
Well, his name is Sunny Seki, and he is from Japan. He made appearances a long time ago on Disney Channel in Japan, and he made so many appearances, like in schools, to read stories to children. And
What's his last name again?
Seki.
Saki?
Yes.
Sunny.
And also,
I'm trying to look it up. Let's see. Hold on. Maybe so I can bring it up on the screen. Sunny Sucky on the right there. Is that it? Am I spelling it right?
I believe so. I believe you.
Oh, okay. And I'm just trying to see if we can show the book to anyone that's watching. Sunny Sucky book. Anyway, that's nice. So that's great. So they're supporting kids, and it's kids stories and sharing those. That's really nice.
Yes, and it's based on Japanese stories. Like,
here it is. Yeah, Sunny Sucky picture books. Nice. You know this person?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And I know their wife too.
Very nice. I love these illustrations. These are beautiful. Japanese person, huh? Very
now that you
nice.
mention it.
Those are beautiful. Wow, I really like those illustrations. The Last Kappa of Old Japan. The Tale of the Lucky Cat. They've got their own website here. Cool.
I'll send you the Facebook link if you want to keep updated.
Sure.
And also, it reminds me of the video on how you in Japan how you got cucumbers, and you said maybe you'll meet a kappa on the road.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, thinking I could use those cucumbers to keep the kappa from killing me. Well, let's see. Let's go ahead and read this and see how this is coming across. Okay. So the first part here, leading off from yesterday, will complete the sentence that started yesterday. Retirement gives additional firmness to the principles of those who seek it from a noble love of independence. Hold on. Retirement gives additional firmness to the principles of those who seek it from a noble love of independence. Well, that would fit with the guy I just mentioned. And literally, in that case, it wasn't retirement as though seeking solitude. It was literally retirement. And instead of devolving into one of those old guys that just sits at the park, he became with nothing to do. He wrote his damn book. Retirement gives additional firmness because he had the principles to do that, to the principles who seek it from a noble love of independence, but loosens the feeble consistency of those who only seek it from novelty and caprice. But loosens the feeble consistency. What's a feeble consistency? So your feeble consistency would be not being very forthright, not being very persistent, and then it becomes even less so.
Yes, and it's pretty frail.
So in this sentence, he's saying those who have strong, for some, solitude strengthens their resolve, while for others, it becomes looser and weaker, and then they devolve. And so in the case of the teacher I mentioned before, he was the former. Okay, I think I get that. Okay, here's another. Let's do this whole paragraph right here. To render solitude serviceable, the powers of the mind and the sensibilities of the heart must be co-equal and reciprocally regulate each other. Okay, that makes sense. So you need strong your mental faculties, which are being brought to bear for whatever you're going to use that solitude for, have to be reinforced by whatever motive you have from your heart, and they balance each other. I would say that's true too. Weakness of intellect, when joined with quick feelings, hurries its possessor in all tumult or worldly pleasure, and when mingled with insensibility, impels him to the cloister. Ooh, whoa, geez. Yeah, okay. That's interesting. Wow, interesting that he wrote that in the 18th century. Impels him to the cloister. Cloister, of course, being becoming a monk. Becoming a holy order. So, if he has a strong intellect and quick feelings, and then he can use solitude. Weakness of intellect, when joined with quick feelings, hurries its possessor into all tumult or worldly pleasure. So, if you don't have a strong intellect, and you're quick to respond, then you fly into the world of pleasure, nightlife, television, watching TV, whatever you're going to do, music, whatever, society. And when mingled with torpid insensibility, but if you're not very motivated, you wind up as a monk.
Isn't that a good thing?
Not in this case.
Mm.
He's saying that becoming a monk could be a sign of weak intellect and not having and poor control over oneself. I don't think he would view those who become monks with favorable light.
That's a shame.
What if it's true?
Yes. And for those of you watching over there, we're not saying anything bad about monks. So apologies.
Extremes both in solitude and in society are equally baneful. There you go. I would agree with that. Okay. Let's go to this paragraph. A strong sense of shame, the keen compunctions of conscience, a deep regret for past follies, the mortification arising from disappointed hopes, and the dejection which accompanies disordered health, sometimes to affect the spirits and destroy the energies of the mind, that the soul shrinks back upon itself at the very approach of company and withdraws to the shades of solitude, only to bleed and languish in obscurity. That's what I thought was going to happen to the music teacher, and I'm happy it didn't. So 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 if you find yourself in a state where you have any of these characteristics, a strong sense of shame, your conscience begs upon you, deep regret for your past follies, that's the one that drives people to solitude. And you're mortified by your disappointed hopes and dejection, that your life didn't come to much, and it affects all the spirits and destroys the energies of the mind. Wow. And the soul shrinks back upon itself at the very approach of company and withdraws to the shades of solitude, only to bleed and languish in obscurity. That's a death sentence right there. That's the one right there. Man, that's heavy. That's the one that draws people to commit suicide. That sentence right there. That's I would go so far as to say that is probably for most of the adult suicides that I would imagine occur, that would be the motivating factor right there. The inclination to retire in cases of description, for rise from a fear of meeting the reproaches or disregard of an unpitying and unrelenting world, and not from that erect spirit which disposes the mind to self-enjoyment. There's a period at the end there. That is the end of the sentence. And then there's an asterisk. I didn't understand that last sentence. The inclination to retire in cases of description, the inclination to retire in cases of deception, description, that is description. What does that mean? The inclination to retire in cases of description. So what does that mean? What is a case of description? In cases of this description. I missed a word. Okay, right. So he's referring to the cases described in the sentence above, right? So the inclination to retire in cases of this description arises. Is that arises or arise? It arises from a fear of meeting the reproaches or disregard of an unpitying and unreflecting world, and not from that erect spirit which disposes the mind to self-enjoyment. Got that? That is exactly what I thought was going to be the fate of the music teacher. I thought that he was going to dissolve away from the choices that he had made earlier in life, and that's why that 5-minute song that I played earlier is so dark. I was sure that was going to happen to him, and it didn't. And he showed me another light, and I have to remember that. There you go. We did it. We did it. Erica, another page done.
That's wonderful. And surprisingly, that this like part of the book is so fitting with what we were talking about.
It is. Well, I think it covers topics that are very interesting for life in general, right? I mean, the challenges we all face. Mm-hmm. Well, before we close, do you have any plans today?
Well, I don't think so. And also, I've noticed, I've also noticed that you were cleaning a chalkboard in Japan, and the teacher was asking, you were demonstrating how to clean a chalkboard in Japan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a very particular way to do that, right? I don't remember, but but I remember the kids showing me how to do it.
Okay. Well, what are you gonna do today besides walk the dogs?
Well, I'm going to walk the dogs right now, and then I'm going to come back, and I am going to get ready for the day. Saturday is house cleaning day and shopping day, so I'm going to begin cleaning the house. Yumiko and Emily will probably sleep until like 8 o'clock. So they'll sleep in. So I'll clean the house while they're sleeping. At least I'll clean the downstairs. And then after that, Yumiko is going to make breakfast. And then Yumiko and I are going to head out to do our shoppings, which usually takes about half a day to do all of our shopping. And Emily got a new job, so she's starting her new job today. And so maybe we'll go by and it's in a very public place. So maybe Yumiko and I will go by and watch her work and participate a little bit. We'll see. And support her, encourage her in her new job.
Wow! Congratulations,
Yeah.
to Emily. I'm so proud.
Yeah, me too. It'll be fun. She's really looking forward to it. So.
Oh,
How
well.
about- mm.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
well, I was going to ask you what any particular things you're going to do today. Do you have to clean your room or anything like that?
Well, I would say, to be honest.
What's that?
To be honest, a little bit. But yeah, I'm pretty sure. And there's not a lot of plans for me today. Yes, but what is interesting that my dad says, that he's pretty he feels pretty sad about me in particular not like drawing as much, and he says don't stop, don't give up on it, and I'm like, I won't. It's just that I was very busy. And
who's sad? Your dad?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that's nice that he supports you in your drawing. And well, the things come and go, right? There's seasons for things, right? Maybe the season ebbs and flows for the drawing.
Yes, and well, enjoy your day, and I don't want to keep you any longer. I bet the dogs are waiting.
Yeah. Have you ever considered putting? I will. Yeah. Have you ever considered putting your art on, getting an account on DeviantArt and putting your art out there?
Oh, I do have one, but I haven't updated it in years.
Oh,
it's usually in the back of my mind.
Yeah. Imagine there's good ways to do that. Well, good. Well, maybe you do some drawing today then, huh?
Sure.
Good. All right. All right. Well, I guess we'll sign off. It looks like the dogs don't want to get up, but they better go. So it's time. So gotta keep those boys on schedule. It's not so important on the weekend, but during the week when I have to start work, everything has to be on time. So otherwise, I can't start work on time. But you have a great day, Erica, and we'll talk to you later. Okay.
All right.
Take care. Take care, everybody out there.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.